focus entirely is to win every test match. I think we've set ourselves a goal coming on the end of the year tour to make sure that we get momentum into next year. And we took it game by game. Our focus was entirely on Wales when we play them, and then on Scotland. And because it's a test match, we have exactly the same approach going into this test match against England, and that is to focus and being the best we can be. And that is the way we approach this week.
Yeah, similar to what Coach Deon said, is we take it game by game. In World Cup finals in the past, this is a new test, new what do you call it? New challenge that's ahead. So we're really looking forward to. We look forward to a great week of preparation. We know that England's got a lot of threats and great players in their team, so we're just going to take it day by day, building up into the weekend, and hopefully produce a great test match.
Nathan?
Zina, can I ask the coach 2 questions, please, if that's fine?
You may, Nathan.
Thank you. Coach, the mandatory Monday question, any injury updates from the last week?
Nathan, we're lucky that all the players are available. We will have a training session this afternoon, and everyone that are available will be on the field.
Touching on Jan's question about the approach, Coach, I've been fortunate enough to be coached by you and understand that you pay quite a lot of attention to the small detailed line-out time. We saw a different approach by the overall team on attack in the first half, leading up to the game. What was it discussed during the week leading up to Saturday's game against Scotland that you'll be using the line-out more early on in the game?
Nathan, I mean, the line-out ball has always been a big part of our game. Obviously, it will be exactly the same going forward. Obviously, different teams brings different challenges every week, and we have to adapt. Yeah, it's been part of our menu, and it will be part of our menu going into this game.
Andrew?
A couple of questions, if I may. First of all, gentlemen, World Rugby have announced their shortlists for the international players, coaches, tries of the year. There's not a single South African player or coach on either the main player of the list or coach of the year. How do you feel, bearing in mind the year you've had, that you have no representation?
I think we respect the process. Obviously, the committee that decides know what they are looking for, and obviously they make their decisions according to that. So congratulations on those players and coaches that have been nominated, and yeah, we wish them good luck.
Coach, obviously it's the final week of what's been a pretty difficult few months if you take it all the way back to the British and Irish Lions tour. How do you avoid the players being distracted by the prospects of getting on the plane and going back to their families? Or do you actually turn that around and use it a way of driving them? You know, you can say, look, it's one more Tuesday session, one more Wednesday session. Which way do you approach it?
As I alluded before, I think every test match that we play is important for us. Obviously, being in the position, being number 1 in the world and being number 1 in the world next year is something that I think really drive the players. I think we go out with the mentality in every test match to be the best and to represent our country to the best of our ability. And we will approach this game exactly the same. We've discussed it before. I think as you know, we come through a very tough year through the COVID challenges, and I think this week is just part of those challenges that we will have to overcome and adapt to. But playing for our country, playing a test match against any country in the world on any given day is important for us. So yeah, I think the players are motivated enough to do their best.
And Stephen, can I just ask you, obviously South Africa have a record against England where you've actually won more games than you've lost, and that's true in England as well. Is there something you think that South Africa has an advantage over against England in this country?
Andrew, that's your last question. We need to allow other members of the media questions as well. You can answer, Deon.
I think England is a quality side. I think it is a good coach. They're making some good plans. They've got some exciting players coming in. For us, it's just going into this game, building on the lessons we've learned from the previous games against Wales and Scotland, and using that unity and focus in order to focus on our new task. We understand it's going to be tough, as any test match against England are at Twickenham. So for us, just knowing that we need to be entirely focused and task orientated is important.
Yeah, Andrew, I think just to latch on to Coach Deon, it's we always know England's it's a tough physical game. They can play the ball and they've got a good kicking game. We've got a great set piece. For us, it's all about taking it, going through our processes in the week, making sure we tick all the right boxes and being as mentally prepared as possible, going to a big physical test match. So for us, we don't really look at the past results. We only focus purely on the game at hand on the weekend.
John?
A question for Deon. It's 2 years, obviously, since the World Cup final, Deon, but looking forward to this game of the weekend against England. Are you confident that the areas in which South Africa held the upper hand against England in 2019, you guys can still have that upper hand now, 2 years on? And I'm thinking particularly perhaps about scrum time and physical collisions.
No, obviously, I mean, if we look back at our last game, playing against Scotland, playing against Wales, we've put a big emphasis on the systems and our processes in the different departments of the game. As I said before, we know that England is going to be a tough challenge, bringing their unique challenges in different aspects of the game. So for us, where we are entirely focused in terms of how we need to prepare for that and where we need to improve going forward. So yeah, we're confident that with the players that we have and the experience that we have in the team and the process or the improvements that we've made over the couple of test matches, that we can take that momentum into this test match.
Thanks. Could I just quickly ask the same question of Stephen, please? I mean, did you think, Stephen, are you an even stronger scrummaging team now than you were in 2019?
Yeah, just talking about scrums and set piece in general, we work every week on improving our plans and our systems, and it's a daily work on for us as a front row unit, as a back five unit. So we do our video analysis during the week. We do our homework, and we know the exact challenges that every team brings. So for us, it's keep on building momentum and actually just try and improve as much as we can, because there's always an area in the scrummaging that you can improve and work on. So for us, it's going through those processes, making sure we work hard in the week when we do our live scrummaging, so we can be as prepared as possible for whatever England will throw at us.
Heinz?
Thank you, Zina. Just a question for each, please. Hi, gents. Hope you're well. Deon, just for you, a lot of times, at this stage of the year, there are questions now about fatigue and how players are feeling and that type of thing. And I just wanted to ask, how inspiring was it as a forwards coach to see how almost what switched on that forward pack was, at Murrayfield at this late stage of the season? It felt like they were absolutely at the peak almost of their conditioning and their intent. And then for Stephen, just how fun is it to play in this setup where plans just come so well together, particularly with the front row plan now, like Ox and the guys doing an amazing job, softening up, and then you guys come on and just sort of like tighten the noose. Just how fun is it playing in that type of dynamic? Thanks.
Obviously, we have to complement our conditioning team together with the management team in terms of how they've planned the preparation of the team for such a tough tour throughout the season, and obviously coming into this end of the year tour. And then also the players, for the professionalism in terms of how they react towards the demands of what is needed during the week in order to be the best, or to be to the best of their ability coming game day. Yeah, and it was obviously you could see that coming through in Saturday's game. The focus of the players, the determination and the attitude, and the energy that they brought to the game. And yeah, hopefully we can see this again this coming weekend.
And just on the second question, no, it's unbelievable. A lot of credit to Ox, Bongi and Trevor. I think they go out a lot of prep in the week, and we work as two front rows. We work hard going for each other in a week's training. But they lay a great foundation. They bring a lot of intensity in that first half. They go flat out every scrum, like it's do or die. Every scrum is a massive battle. So for us to come on, for us it's just important to stay on par with them, and even just try and lift the intensity a little bit if we can. So it's a big role that we need to fulfill, but we're more than happy to take it full on and just go with it.
Daniel?
Hi guys, just a question for each. Thanks, Zina, if that's okay. Stephen, I'll start with you. In the Chasing the Sun documentary, you kind of expressed how you're competitive athletes, and the competition for the front row is so big. I wonder, if you had the choice, would you prefer to start, or is it actually a point of pride now being a member of the bomb squad?
No, it's being a part of the bomb squad. There's a lot of pride, and but it's the team's plan, and we're willing just to execute whatever is best for the team, because the team, the Springbok team, comes first. But being part of the bomb squad is always fun, and me and Malcolm and Vince are probably through the best friends in the team. So we know our role, we know what we need to do. Everything is planned out during the week exactly, so we understand our job and our responsibility. So we give it everything we can for 40 to 35 minutes.
So you don't have a preference?
No, I don't have a preference.
And okay, no worries, Deon. And just quickly with you, staying on the bomb squad theme, do you prepare the players differently? I mean, either psychologically or physically. Is there a slight change in the nuance of your coaching?
No, I think it's important that there's absolutely transparency and clarity in terms of our plan, and that is well communicated to them. The players clearly understand what we want from them, whether they start or whether they come from the bench. They understand their role. Obviously, we as a coaching team also look at specific things in terms of that plan, and we make our decisions according to that in terms of when to make changes. And the players have a big buy-in into that, and when one front row comes off and the other one goes on, they specifically understand that they have what their task is, what we want to achieve for them, and the other players, obviously, when they start, they understand also in terms of what we expect of them. So yeah, there's clear transparency and clarity around that, and there's good buy-in into that.
So there's no difference in the way, in like the physicality of the way that you train them?
No, there's in our training session. There's always, depending on what days, there's always good competition. Obviously, we challenge the players in different ways, and yeah, they react towards that, and we then decide what is the best for the team going into a specific game.
Thank you.
Nathan, is that a fresh hand?
Yes, please, Zina.
You can go, Nathan.
Thank you. This one's for Kitsi. Kitsi, England will bring a different challenge this week. You've played England quite a fair amount of times. Any strengths and weaknesses you get from England, especially them having footy, them, or let me say Matt Proudfoot to be exact, a guy who you worked with at Western Province Rugby?
Yeah, I think some key strengths that they do bring, is, and we've discussed it this morning. They do have a very good contesting system. They do get in the air when we need to try and get our own ball at line out, or the way they defend mauls is very strong. They've got a good pack of forwards. Scrum time, faced Carl Sinclair at the Lions. I haven't played against him for quite a while, but I got him against the Lions. He was pretty solid and scrummed very well for them there. And then, yeah, they put off the rugby I watched of them from the Australia Test match. They do have a nice attacking brand that they play, and they do look good with ball in hand. So we know the challenges, we know some of their weaknesses, and it's our job this week to prepare for both those scenarios that we can execute and implement our game plan onto them.
Ross?
Thanks, Zina. How's it, guys? Just one for Deon and one for Stephen. Deon, you guys have given a few chances to some guys in this tour so far, Jesse on the wing, Herschel with a couple of games at Scrummy. Are you guys, do you think you might look to bring in one or two new faces for this final game, or do you think you'll look to keep the momentum going? And Stephen, do you think this game is quite an important one in getting the win to make it a pretty good season for you guys? Obviously, you had a couple of unfortunate results against Australia in the Rugby Championship, but overall, do you think this is quite a big one to make it quite a good season?
I think obviously it's important for us to win every test match. So looking at this test match, obviously we will discuss the momentum that we currently have, and also what we want to achieve, and also in terms of what the threats England bring to the game. So looking at all those factors, we will eventually then make a decision in terms of what is the best for this upcoming test.
Yeah, and just how important this game is for us. We feel it's probably the most important game of the season. It's been a really tough, long year, but there's a lot of energy at the moment in the camp. 2 great results, a lot of good work being done during the weeks. So it is really an important game for us to keep our number one spot in world rankings until international season starts again next year, and just building momentum going into the 2022 season. So this is a game of a lot of importance, and it's great just to go 3 on a trot in the UK.
Any further questions in English? We can take one more and then we'll switch over to Afrikaans. Is that you?
Yeah.
Robin, I'll just see. I sent WhatsApp for both you, Deon and Stephen. With England having Matt Proudfoot as part of their coaching staff, he knows most of the Box players, as he was part of the coaching staff of the Box World Cup triumph. Do you think they'll have their work cut out? Stephen has answered that, so Deon, if you'd like to answer that.
Yes, I think so many at this level, a lot of analysis are done by coaches in terms of their opposition. I think England would have done the same, whether it's individual player profiles, whether it's team profiles or tactics. So yeah, from that point of view, I think we will have our work cut out, and it will be a big challenge for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the English section of our press conference. We will now take questions in Afrikaans for our South African media. The international media, you can remain on the call if you'd like, but we will now switch over to Afrikaans. First question, Stephen Nel.
Hallo julle, goed om julle te sien. Hoop dit gaan goed en voorspoed vir die week. Steven, ek weet jy's nou hierdie vraag, julle het nou in Engels hieroor gesels, maar net rakende Matt Proudfoot, watter rol het hy gespeel? Hoe groot was sy rol in die wêreld beker toernooi, en dink jy dit sal vir julle enigstens moeilik wees omdat Matt julle so goed ken?
Ja, Steven, eerlikwaar, ek dink Matt het 'n groot rol gespeel, sodat al die members van die management maar doen, en sy groot afdeling was maar die scrums en die lynstaande gewees, en ons was baie suksesvol gewees daar tydens die wêreldbeker. Ek dink Matt ken die spelers soos die agterkant van sy hand. Hy het 2 jare saam met van die ouens gewerk, van sy Stormers daar af tot by die Springbokke. So ek dink hy ken meeste van die spelers baie goed. Ek dink hy weet wat ons voordele en ons nadele is, waar ons sterk is. So dit gaan 'n uitdaging wees, maar soos wat coach Deon ook gesê het, ons doen ons huiswerk op hulle en ons het, ek dink, baie gevorder in die laaste jaar as 'n span en daar's baie nuwe dinge wat die spelers bring, nuwe taktieke en verbetering wat ons bring van ons weer bymekaar gekom het vir die leerstoer.
Net aan julle albei asseblief, hierdie wedstryde teen Engeland, as dit die laaste toets van die jaar is, ek het dit nou al vir baie jare gesien, dis 'n toets wat 'n neiging het om 'n blywende indruk te laat. Want Suid-Afrikaners is mal oor om vir Engeland te klop. Ek dink die spelers ook. Sien julle dit ook in daardie lig, dat hierdie seisoen, hierdie toets sal nie die seisoen definieer nie, maar dit sal 'n groot glans op die seisoen sit, as julle vir Engeland klop?
Ja, definitief, Steven. Ek dink dit is spesiaal om teen Engeland op Twickenham te speel. Soos jy reg sê, die einde van die jaar, toets teen Engeland is altyd 'n besonderse toets op die kalender. Ek dink vir ons ook in die posisie waar ons is, in die momente wat ons huidiglik het, sien ons baie uit na hierdie toets om ons jaar en al die beproewing en uitdaging op 'n hoogtepunt af te sluit. Ek dink die spelers het baie hard gewerk, hulle het goed reageer op al die uitdagings vir hierdie jaar en ja, dit sal 'n goeie beloning vir hulle wees as hulle nog oor hierdie laaste hekkie kan kom en suksesvol kan wees om so 'n uitdagende jaar op so 'n goeie noot af te sluit. En ek dink dit sal as motivering vir hulle dien om net hulle beste te gee.
Ja, en van my kant af, ek dink, sien jy is 100% reg, die laaste toets van 'n rugby seisoen of van 'n rugby jaar los altyd die grootste indruk, want dit is die laaste keer wat jy 'n geleentheid kry om te speel en jou stempel af te druk. So dis hoekom hierdie toets ook so belangrik is, want vir die volgende 7 maande gaan nie vir die Springbokke enige rugby wees nie. So vir ons om ons momentum te behou en vir die volgende jaar in te gaan as om 'n een span, is dit 'n baie belangrike toets en ons baie fokus op hierdie toets, dink ek, wêreldwyd en ek bedoel, al die Suid-Afrikaners gaan dit kyk en so dit is ongelooflik belangrik en ons wil ook ons beste doen om so goed as moontlik te kan doen in hierdie game Saterdag.
Percy?
Goeiemôre Sina, goeiemôre coach en goeiemôre Steven. Sina, kan ek 'n vraag vir coach Deon Davids en vir Steven Kitshoff vra asseblief?
Dis reg, Percy.
Baie dankie Sina. Deon, kan ek vir u vra en ek hoop maar ek kan my hierdie perskonferensie op 'n ligte noot afsluit met bietjie tong in die kies. Jy het reeds die vraag in Engels soort van beantwoord, maar ek wil anders gou vinnig vra. As jy hierdie naweek byvoorbeeld 'n opdrag gekry het om hierdie naweek Twickenham toe na Wêreldoorlog 3 toe gaan, het 'n keuse van 2 spelers. Jy kan kies teen Mario Tojo of Eben Etzebeth. Met wie sou jy oorlog toe wil gaan, meneer?
Luister, ek het respek natuurlik vir albei spelers se vaardighede, maar ek dink Percy is baie maklik om te beantwoord. Dit sal definitief Eben Etzebeth wees vir verskeie redes.
Ek sou graag wil hoor wat sou jou redes is hoekom sê jy gaan op jou eie speler gaan mee?
Eerstens omdat hy 'n Suid-Afrikaner is. Tweedens omdat hy huidiglik in so 'n uitstekende vorm is. Hy sy primêre en sy fundamentele werk so goed doen. En dan buiten dit ook omdat hy 'n houding en 'n fisiekheid na die spel toe bring wat kentekend is van die Suid-Afrikaanse se manier van dinge doen. En ja, ek dink net hy's 'n absolute goeie ambassadeur met die voorbeeld wat hy stel en die opoffering wat hy maak week in en week uit om sy lyf op die spel te sit vir die Springbokke en vir Suid-Afrika.
Om op te som is etter op die veld.
Baie dankie Deon. Ek wil net vir jou sê, ek wil baie graag jou ander rol geplaas het. Ek het gewonder as jy byvoorbeeld in Wêreldrugby se paneel was, sou jy jouselfde denkwyse gewees, maar nietemin. Steven, kom ek vra vir jou gou vinnig dan die vraag. Steven, as 'n joernalis, as 'n Suid-Afrikaner, as 'n ondersteuner, kan ek met al wat 'n klise hierdie week voorkom vir hierdie wedstryd wat voorlê. Hoekom is vir jou so belangrik dat jy genoem het dat jy moet aan julle nommer 1 plek aan die wêreldranglys klou? in die aanloop tot hierdie wedstryd en moontlik in die aanloop tot volgende jaar toe?
Dus ek dink ons baie trots en passie en harde werk wat deur die jaar opgebou is, bloed, sweat en trane, wat opoffering wat ouens gemaak het, maande weg van die huis af. So ek dink dit is om die geleentheid te kry om vir 'n toets te speel en om jou nommer 1 plek te hou is uiters belangrik, en ons wil ons alles gee, want ons weet hoe belangrik dit vir ons as 'n span, as 'n coaching staff en as 'n land is. So ons wil regtig in 2022 ingaan met goeie momentum, en ons wil ons nommer 1 plek hou met ons hele hart.
And then final question, Stephen Nel, and then we'll wrap it up.
Baie dankie, Zina. Steven, as jy nou terugkyk op hierdie jaar, ek weet nou al die nominasies is gedoen en so aan, maar alles wat julle deur is hierdie jaar, julle is eintlik 'n besonder soort van groep springbokke, gegee alles wat julle deur is. Was jy al deel, sou jy sê, van 'n beter span, net in terme van die hoe die psigiese uitdagings aangegryp is en getrotseer is, en ek dink dit sal julle baie goed wees vir die pad vorentoe vir julle.
Sorry, ek het bietjie gemis, jy net weer herhaal?
Ja, Steven, net in terme van alles wat julle deur is as 'n span, is dit soort van vir jou die mees besonderse span waarvan jy al 'n deel was, gegee alles wat julle deur is?
Ja.
En dan tweedens net, dink jy dit sal vir julle baie help vir die pad vorentoe?
Ja, Steven, ek dink waardeur ons gegaan het as 'n span, as 'n groep spelers, ek dink is besonder hoe ons, of was ons rigte teen die muur, of het ons paar games, ek bedoel, 'n hele jaar gemis het van nasionale rugby, in 'n league series ingegaan het, daar hoe ons voorberei het, hoe ons hard gewerk het om bo uit te kom also. Ek dink dis 'n besonderse groep spelers, 'n besonderse groep mense, almal het hulle unieke persoonlikhede, maar hoe goed ons gel as 'n span en hoe goed ons almal oor die weg kom is uiters is so amazing en so awesome en deel van so 'n groep te wees, en ek dink hierdie span vorentoe gaan nog baie behaal, en as almal hulle voete plat op die grond hou en ons hou aan doen wat ons doen, sien ek net groot sukses in die toekoms van hierdie span.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up our press conference for today. We'll be sending out the recording shortly. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.